to infuse your real estate business with more purpose? Have you ever wanted to not just have a business that maybe feeds your immediate needs and concerns, but actually funds those projects and those mission-based organizations that you love? Today's episode is going to talk all about that. I have a very special guest on here who's done some incredible things in the real estate investing space, who we're going to talk through very specifically how you can change not just your branding. This isn't just a wrapper. This is actually change the core of how you grow and build and see your business to where you can, again, not just be taking care of your family, but taking care of some of the causes that you love and care about most in life. This episode is going to be a special one. I'm excited. Stay here with us. The big question is this: how do those of us in the real estate industry with crazy amounts of ambition, how do we think bigger than the building of our own empires? How do we simultaneously seek success and significance, income and impact? My name is Justin Stoddard, and this is the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. Again, welcome back, everybody, to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. Excited to introduce to you, if you don't already know him, Randy Molland. Now, Randy, did I pronounce your last name correctly? I haven't actually ever asked you that.
Absolutely. You nailed it 100%.
Awesome. So for those that don't know Randy, he's a real estate investor. He has a portfolio of over $20 million invested in real estate. He's raised over $50 million in real estate. And his life's work now has moved beyond just investing in real estate, but helping other professionals to go big so that they can give big, which, if you didn't catch the very intro of this show, is helping you have success and significance, income and impact. This episode is going to teach us very tactically how we can go about doing that. Randy, I'm really excited to have you here today.
Dude, I'm fired up for this. I absolutely love talking about it, and your audience sounds like a lot of people that I've been trying to share my message with about the impact that we can make in the world by making a few simple tweaks and changes to your already successful business.
You know, the thing I love about what you're going to teach us today, Randy, is that all too often, I think we think way too small about what we need to produce because we're only looking at it through the lens of our immediate needs, the people in our direct circle, maybe putting kids through college, taking care of our monthly expenses. And so because we think very small about the goals that we have, we end up hitting them, right? I mean, that's what we aim for. And so that's what we get or close to. Whereas when you start to realize the impact that a business and a business owner can have by thinking bigger and expanding that circle of influence beyond just your immediate needs, you have the ability now to begin to see the world in a different way and start to hit new goals that take care of so many more people, that can give you so much more satisfaction and happiness in life. In fact, I love the statement that you said to me, which is buy happiness with your business. So I'm excited. Let's talk a little bit about your story, and then let's have a conversation about how agents can really start to make this move. Not just agents, but professionals in general, how they can start to make this shift towards a more purposeful business.
100%, man. And thank you so much for having me on. I'm very fired up for this, and I know our missions aligned a lot, and I'm excited to grow a friendship with you because it is so special when you find people that have similar paths or similar journeys as you. My journey, the cliff notes of it is I started out as an electrician by trade. Throughout the years, at 22, I was very fortunate to get ticketed in the industry and be wiring multi-million-dollar job sites and kind of hitting the echelon of my career. At 25, I bought my first home and was kind of at the peak of everything. Bought my first home, basically was like the go-to guy in my company, was being primed to step up and take over the company one day. And the guy that was mentoring me and helping me, unfortunately, 2 weeks after I bought my home, passed away in a job site accident. And so I went from being at the highest of highs to having to make this decision of what's next. And he was 42 when he passed away. And like most people in this world, I was like, this is incredible. At 25, I bought my first home. In 25 years, I'll pay it off. At 50, I'll own my home and be able to maybe retire. And at 42, this guy passed away. And I was like, so I'm going to work for 20 years, get hit by a telephone pole, and I don't even get to go to retirement. This is horrible. So I just Googled how to make as much money as I can and never work again. And I found real estate investing. And I learned that a lot of the world's wealthiest people come from real estate investing. And I had a lot of skills and network of I wired a lot of rental properties for people. So I just started leaning on them and went all in on real estate investing and self-development, and started this whole new journey of Randy 2.0, the entrepreneur that wanted to go change the world on the loss of one of his best friends. And so I stepped into that and had some success. Basically, we did joint venture partnerships. We did all the work. We would get people to fund the deals. We'd split profits 50-50. And so we did a bunch of those projects. And then now today, we're a development company and we've got some pretty big developments. But the fun thing about the story is, along the way, after a year or so of being in the real estate investment industry, I found that everyone talks about your why and your purpose and stuff. And I had a good why. I wanted to go out and make impact in this world. But I was so focused on the making of the money to get to the freedom that it wasn't exciting me. It was just like, what for? More money to do what with? And so I was kind of lost and not driven, and kind of going through this. You got to remember, I'm 27, so I'm changing like my whole circle of friends. I'm like, why am I leaving all my friends for this? Like, it doesn't seem that much better. I heard a podcast, and on the podcast, a guy named Cole Hatter, and he talked about how if you want to build a business that you make $1 million a year and create that financial freedom, why don't you build your business to do $2 million, give $1 million away, and don't feel guilty about the $1 million that you made? And that was the turning point in my life, Justin, where I was like, this is it. I needed to hear that one sentence for me to have a complete 180 shift of, okay, I want to make money, but now I want to do it with actual purpose. And so from there, I signed up for everything Cole Hatter had, from his live events. He ran one called Thrive, Make Money Matter, to his mastermind, Thrive Connect. I was part of that for a lot of years. And we at the time, so that's like the journey, how I got there, and then how I implemented this model into my business was that we had a free meetup for real estate investing. We had about 20 or 30 people on a monthly basis showing up. What we did is we started charging $10 at the door, but we made it as a donation to a charity with us. And it's to a local kids sport organization where they pay for kids to go through sports. And so all of a sudden, my business partner and I were donating $200 or $300 a month to this charity. And we're like, this is cool. But what it did collectively for the group, everyone started to buy into this, like, hey, we're making a pretty big impact here. And we said, yeah, if you can bring more friends, we could probably help. And for us, $300 helps one kid go through sport. So we're putting one kid through sport every month. And we started pitching this group on, guys, if we can get 60 people in here, we help 2 kids go through sport. If we put 90 people in here, we can help 3 kids a month go through sports. And then what it became was, hey, come donate $10, help these kids go through sports. And while you're here, learn real estate investing. Dude, we went to over 100 people within a few months of doing that. And it just became this camaraderie of people that wanted to give back and then learn real estate investing. So we added the value of giving to it, grew the network. We were donating $1,000 a month. It was tons of fun. And then we decided, how can we implement that into our real estate portfolio? So we started donating $10 per door per month from our real estate portfolio back to charities. And then to close it all out, how Go Big to Give Big came to be. I was looking at my business partner and I just said, man, this is so cool. The bigger we go, the more we get to give. The more doors we add to our portfolio, the more we give. The more people we bring to our meetup, the more we get to give. And everything just became Go Big to Give Big. And that is the story and journey of Go Big to Give Big.
Yeah, I think everybody can apply this principle, whether you're a real estate investor, whether you're an independent real estate agent, whether you're wanting to grow brokerage, whether you're a professional in a different industry that I'm also stepping into to serve now, a financial advisor, right? Anybody who has the potential to grow their income in significant ways, right? Which I would say that's the real attraction of this show. It attracts business owners who are aspiring to not only have a good life when it comes to temporal things, but also have a very significant life. And I love this playbook of just take your goals and double it and give the other half away. I think, unfortunately, in our society today, almost criminalize are the wealthy, right? They're the problem. And I think when you look at capitalism in its purest form, it involves a significant amount of charity. So capitalism gets a bad rap oftentimes by people who benefit greatly from capitalism, right? In fact, living here in the United States, everybody benefits from it. Yeah. Yet it's penalized and almost criminalized as if it's the problem. And I would say when you team up capitalism with a high amount of charitable giving, it takes all of the stigma away, which I don't know that it should have one anyway. Maybe greedy capitalism should, like, that's problematic, right? But when you actually have people like yourself who have the ability to make money, and they purposefully put their foot on the gas so that they can serve causes that are deeply meaningful to them, an amazing thing happens. It takes care of so many more people and inspires so many people. And I think that there's a more pure motivation. And I mean, have you found that, Randy, that when, like, yes, you can add another few doors for your own, increase your passive income and upgrade this and travel in a little fancier way over here. But when you know that that's going to actually serve causes that you care very, very deeply about, and people who are in need of more help than maybe you are in need of another private flight, like, do you find that that's more deeply fulfilling to you? Kind of talk us through that. Like, what has that done for your, like, overall motivation and perspective of being in business for yourself?
Yeah, dude. 100% everything you said. Greedy capitalism is on like the spotlight of cancel culture right now,
Mhm.
where if you just make money for good, people don't want you. People want
Mhm.
you to do good. They still need capitalism. We still need capitalism to drive and be innovative. We still need the Elon Musk to go
Right.
create the stuff. We still need guys like you and I to go be hungry for money and start companies and employ people and things like that. But what we need is to marry philanthropy and capitalism in its truest form, like you talked
Yeah.
about. And I have a Venn diagram. Picture one half is capitalism, one half is philanthropy, nonprofit, and in the middle is go big to give big. It's
Mhm.
marrying the two where they overlap each other. That is the space of fun. So when you ask me that question, yes, Justin, I still want to go travel. I want to be financially free. I want to make $1 million a year, 100%. But I'm not driven by the status of that. I'm driven by the impact that I can make on the back end of what that brings. So my podcast, Go Big to Give Big, our tagline is taking 6-figure earners and making them 7-figure givers.
Mm.
So put this principle in space. If you learn how to donate $1 million, how much revenue or money are you going to be making on the front end to donate $1 million? If you donate $1 million, do you think people are going to care how much money you make on the front end? Probably not. I donate $1 million. That is something that I'm passionate about. So now I'm motivated to go build my businesses to give back. Now I talk in big numbers, but that doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be your whole mission. The whole mission is by tying a giving component to your business gives you a new reason to get hungry. And I'm going to use real estate agents as an example because I know that's partly to your audience. Here's a very simple example. There's a statistic out there from a core study that says 76% of all consumers want to purchase from a company that has some sort of giving component versus one that doesn't. Let's just blanket statement and say, okay, 76% of people want to buy from companies that give back the dough. It's for millennials, but they're the new generation. Anyways, let's just kind of make it simple. So apples to apples, if I have a giving component and you don't, there's a 76% chance that I'm going to take that business over you. So if you're a real estate agent and you're competing in a market where there's thousands of other agents competing for a listing, and we walk into a listing deal together, and Justin, you say, hey, here's my product, here's my service, here's why I'm so great, and here's how I'm going to sell your house. And I walk in and I say, here's my product, here's my service, here's why I'm so great, and how I'm going to sell your house. And just know that by working with me, you're going to be able to support some kids to help go through sport because I'm so passionate about helping kids create more leaders and better people in this world. And I realize that if I close more deals, we can help more kids. Do you want to join me on my journey of helping these kids with more leadership? That apples to apples, I just crushed you, bro. 76% of the people just picked me. And it's because I'm passionate about giving back. It's not a marketing ploy. I'm not just doing it to close deals. I'm doing it because it's passionate and people can pick that up right away. That is how we're starting to change the game and get passionate about it. And now the fun part of, I know I'm rambling a bit, but the fun part to get to it now is cool. Justin, you closed 10 deals this year and you made yourself, say you closed $10,000 per deal. You did 10 deals, you did 100 grand. I'm going to try and do 100 grand in donations. So if I donate, $1,000 per home, I got to go close 100 more properties than you because I'm trying to get to 100,000 in donations, which means that I'm going to go to $1 million in sales because I want to go support those kids. That is the whole notion of go big to get big.
Yeah, it's beautiful when you see motivation at its purest sense, right? And I think not only can consumers get behind that, but you think about your fellow teammates, the quality and caliber of talent that you're able to attract when it's not just about providing for the day to day, right? I see some of the more impactful organizations in the world is that they have a much deeper cause than just let's show up and do our job. And so we can all get paid so we can get to Friday, right? I think
Yeah.
if you're looking around your organization and you can't wait to get to a weekend, and as a real estate agent, that might look different for you, right? Or if you sense that in your teams, in your organization, that there's a general sense of like, it's Monday, right? Or man, it's almost Friday and it's like Wednesday. Like there's something missing. And I just think there's something missing if we go through our lives spending the majority of our waking hours doing something that we loathe. There's got to be something different. Either A, go find something else to do for a living, or B, find some way to infuse some philanthropy into what you're doing, right? I mean, even if it may be half day of service, right? You'll see some organizations that will start with that, take a percentage of your deals. And I agree with you that there's an untapped market out there of clients who would be more loyal to using you and more enthusiastic about referring you if they knew that every time they did that, there was a percentage of that went to a cause that they care about. And I think the more specific that you can lay it out, right, is that we donate X amount to this organization, and here's some stories of the lives that we've touched. We thank you for your referrals. Like all of a sudden now people get a sense of not just like experiencing this kind of through you, they experience it as well when they get to feel the impact that was made. Like even when you were talking about youth sports, right? Like that impacts me. I've got young kids and I think about the impact that sports had upon me, that you get a chance to not just talk about what you do for a living, you get a chance to talk about how what you do for a living impacts the lives of other people. It's just it's an entirely different scenario. It's just an entirely different feel for everybody involved.
100%. And it's just so infectious. You talked a little bit about your teams. What if now, instead of talking about, hey guys, like what if you attached just inside your little team, but what if you talked about, hey, our team below us, we donate, let's just say $500 from every house that we sell. Say you're in a high market and you make $10,000 commissions. Are you willing to donate 500 from that? Cool. $500. Let's use 300. And then that puts one kid through sport, right? $300, one kid through sport, every deal you do. Now, every deal you do, you don't talk about the commissions you'd make. You talk about the impact you've had. So now you go to your office and you're high-fiving each other. Like, we just put another kid through sport.
Yeah.
Like, what a culture shift that is. Then walking in and being like, yeah, we just made 10 grand today. It's like we just put another kid through sport. Are you going to go to yours? How many kids have you put through? I've put 5 kids through. Like, the competition and sense of team camaraderie now in your sales meetings, you're like, congratulations, guys. We just put 100 kids through sports this year that never would have had the opportunity to play. Think of the impact that you have as leaders in this community, as people that look up to us as real estate agents because we're so involved. And then you run an event for kids sport where we are, like we can run events with that organization and you help the kids. Now you've got all these people coming together. All your clients are invited to it. Like there's so much you can do to turn philanthropy into a marketing part of your business that will draw people in. And the biggest thing I talk about is the know, like, and trust factor. So right now, when you go explain to your clients, you explain what you do. That's the know factor. That's great. We all have to explain our businesses, and that's what we're taught. The like factor is the hardest thing to get. How do you get someone to like you so quickly that they want to trust you enough to do it? So know is the top component, who you are and what you do. The like component is that 76% is talking about the charity work that we do. People love talking about charity work. Who doesn't like talking about philanthropy? So we build the like factor quicker by sharing about what we do. And then the trust factor comes when we talk about the impact that we want to make. That's that final statement that says, and by working with me, I want to go turn more business than ever so I can help more kids because I just want to see more leaders created in this world. That is the trust factor. We're like, hey, I know that if I do business with you, you want to go do good in this world. So we're taking the know, like, and trust, expediting that into one honestly 30-second sales pitch to get people to like us more, to work with us more, to trust us more, compared to just apples to apples.
One of the things that I find about professionals, Randy, is that oftentimes they're hesitant to stay in contact with people because they don't want to turn friendships into sales calls.
Yeah.
And they don't market themselves as much as they should because there's this hesitation around, I don't want to be a self promoter. Right.
Yeah.
And I think if you've ever fallen into that category, there's something really for you to consider here, is that find a cause that you deeply care about, and just as important, that your ideal customer avatar cares about. And those ought to be synonymous, right? There ought to be like complete overlap with those. And because, by the way, you are your best professional when you're, your authentic self. And think about how much easier it would be to talk about the kids, right? To talk about the case studies, to talk about the success stories, the heartwarming stories of the organizations that you're able to support. My guess is that you would be a lot more willing to reach out and talk about the impact that you're having when it's more altruistic than maybe it has been in the past. And I think that this could be a real way for you to unlock the quantity of contacts that you should be making with the people who would be your greatest advocates. And by the way, if it's easier for you to talk about, it's going to be easier for them to talk about as well. Like, let me talk about my professional, because every time they close a deal, this goes to here, to this organization. And we love this organization. It's just a different way of looking at it.
And that's what I said, like, your team culture is great when you walk in, you high five each other and say, I just put one kid through sport. Imagine your client's culture when they walk in the door and there's a giant thermometer and it says, how many kids have we put through sport this year? Yeah. And it's colored red all the way up. And they walk in and everyone, that's all they're talking about, because that is the wrong thing about capitalism, that everyone thinks that we're just going to take advantage of them to make money. Yeah. Let's just take that conversation off the table and work on the giving side and the relatable side. And you don't have to run around and tell everyone, I give $500 for everything I do, so use me because I'm the best. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is get true to a passion or a cause that you believe in, and then work it into your numbers so that you can make impact in this world, and that you're driven and motivated by impact. If you're still driven and motivated by the amount of money you make, and you think by adding a giving component, you can make more money, and that's what motivates you, this isn't for you. I don't want you to step into the Go Big to Get Big movement. I want the people that are like, wow, you mean that, like, reverse engineering, saying like, wow, because I can give 7 figures, I can go earn multiple sevens. Because I can give 6 figures, I can earn multiple 6 figures. Because I give 5 figures, I can earn multiple 5. That's the way we need to start looking at it and change capitalism in that light. And I can get fired up and passionate about this conversation, so I'm trying to be as polite as I can, but it truly is a new era of entrepreneurs coming out. And when the statistics, I have like books and books and books of statistics on why philanthropy is coming out in entrepreneurship more and more, and how consumers are spending their dollars or using their dollars to spend to show what they want. But the culture that you can create with it in the real estate world, envision like the signs on the roads that instead of saying it just says sold, it says sold and 1 kid got put through sport because of this. Like, the marketing you can have with it, the fun you can have with it. Yeah. That's why I love working with real estate agents, because it's so involved in the community and it's so fun, and it really creates a lot of stuff. One thing you touched on was charities, and I just want to share something that I've done a lot of research in. The number one thing is, Justin, everybody wants to do this, but nobody implements it. And I'm sure your audience that's listening is a bunch of engaged enthusiasts because they love you and you do such great work, and they probably are action takers, but a lot of people in this space aren't. And the reason why they aren't isn't because they don't want to give back. It's because we can't pick a Netflix series to watch, let alone choosing a charity that we want to donate to. So I'm going to give your audience a quick tip on that, if that's cool.
For sure. I'd love to hear it.
Simplify it. Find yourself one charity that makes you happy, that makes you joyful. For me, that's Kids Sport Victoria. Something I can talk about and brag about and makes people feel good at their core. That's one that I love donating to and makes me happy. The second one is one that makes me sick to my stomach. One that makes me like, this still exists on the planet. Ugh, makes me just want to vomit. For me, that is child sex trafficking. The fact that it is exponentially growing still and people pay for it and do it's disgusting. My friend owns an orphanage in Mexico called International Network of Hearts. Shout out to them. They do the hardest work on the planet. They're the first touch point for kids that have been sex trafficked. That charity makes me want to go make $10 million tomorrow and makes me emotional even thinking about it, because if I can get more money to solve that problem, then I'm going to be hungrier than ever. So I have one that makes me happy. It makes me feel good that I can make joy, but I also have one that drives and motivates me. Now, how do you vet them? Don't overcomplicate it. Just find something that makes you happy. Sports made me happy. I Googled local sports charity. I went and had a conversation with them. They seemed great. I started with $50 and then I worked my way up to 100, and then I learned more about them, and then I started donating more and got higher and higher up. You don't have to donate. So that's the first thing people do is they don't know what charity to. Just go find them. Start asking your organizations, asking your friends, asking around your network, but find one that makes you happy and one that makes you sick to your stomach. You should be able to find a charity in those spaces just by changing your mindset to think about that. Second thing is that they think they have to donate $50,000 for it to be worth it. Guys, I just donated $1,000 to International Network of Hearts, and it changed their life. I got video messages from them, and they were crying, and everyone's so excited. $1,000 did so much for them. So don't think that your money isn't impactful. It's huge. So that's the second thing that stops them. And the third is they don't know how to implement it. The concept of having to move money and make a donation is hard for a lot of people. And so the simplest thing is just create a separate bank account. So when you do a transaction, you get your money into your main account. We create separate accounts for our taxes, and we create separate accounts for our vacations. Create a separate account for your giving, and just move the $300 you said over to that account every time you close a deal. And then just use that money to do your good. It's easy to track for tax purposes. It's easy for you to know if you miss donating 1 month, who cares? You just roll it into the next month. Maybe some months you donate 500, some days you donate 100. It doesn't matter. It all comes from that one account. There's a 3 ways that people can simplify the giving of just picking 2 charities, recognizing that they can donate $100 and it has an impact, and then moving into a separate account to transfer it out.
Man, I love it. I love everything about what you just said there. Very tactical. We are out of time. I'm sure there's going to be more conversations because, like I said, our passions are really very synonymous. Tell us really quickly. I've got actually one question for you, 2 questions for you. The first one is, how can people learn more about Go Big to Give Big?
Yeah. On social media, if you go to @GoBigToGiveBig or @Randy Molland, I just started publicly doing this. So I've been doing it internally since 2018, but just since 2023, I've really come out with it. We have a podcast called Go Big to Give Big, but I'm launching a community around it. I've got a mastermind around it. I do consulting around it, but it's all been internal. I'm starting to go public. So those are the best ways to find me, is just @Randy Molland or @Go Big to Give Big.
I love it, man. My last question is this. You're a big thinker. What do you do to continue to be a big thinker, to continue to expand your possibilities? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, just leveling up the circles that I'm in. It's crazy. As I start continuing to push this movement into bigger circles, more people like it and more people take me in. And the conversations are insane. I'm starting to work with like organizations that are doing $10 million in real estate transactions or $10 million in assets. And they're like, we love this. How can we implement this tomorrow? And I just started to realize, like, man, this isn't just something for small businesses to do. The people that are at the highest level want to think this way. And as I start hanging out with them, oh man, as a visionary entrepreneur, the wheels are spinning. Now it's like, how do we create a venture capitalist fund that goes and buys companies that has for purpose components, what we call the giving back component, for purpose to it. And now we've got a VC firm that pumps these kinds of businesses up, and create our own real estate brokerage branch, and create our own network marketing company that does this for every product we sell, we give back. I have so many ideas because the network that I'm hanging out with now, that is how they think. It's like, cool. How do you get those 7 streams of incomes to $1 million, like $1 million for 7 different companies? That is like the new goal. And it's just been crazy just hanging out with these high level people where that thinking is just very normal.
Hopefully everybody here on this episode can hear the genuine enthusiasm that Randy has. that's not fabricated. He's actually really purposeful about the passion that he has found, right? Which is a way to merge the two, capitalism and philanthropy. And he's living big, he's giving big, and he's serving big, which are really very much a personal mission statement of mine, to live, give, and serve abundantly. And you've given us some very tactical things on how to do that. And I would encourage everybody, if you're not yet connected to Randy, go find him. And the takeaway, right, is begin small, do something now to where you can infuse some joy, some happiness, and some purpose back into your business, and watch what happens. And I would also make the point that the greatest peril to you living a joyful, purposeful life is thinking too small. It's about being around people who are just eager to get to the weekend. Whereas when you get around people who can't wait to get back in the saddle doing what they're doing because of the impact that can make upon other people, that's where you want to be. That's what big thinking is all about. Randy, appreciate you helping us see that today. It's been a total pleasure.
Thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate it, man. I'm happy to serve anybody in your community and just pour my heart out. It's just my biggest passion. And truly, when you find that passion in your life, there ain't no stopping you, man. So I encourage your crew, even if it's not a giving component that drives you, find a charity, an organization, a group, just buying socks for a homeless person, anything that buys you joy. We didn't get into buying happiness today, but just find something to create your happiness and just go and serve more of it. Because when you're like me, dude, I could literally do 50 podcast episodes a day and never get burnt out talking about it because I just love it so much. So I appreciate you having me on.
You're right. If you want to find true happiness, it is always in the service of other people. You can consume and increase the level of your consumption, and it's a quick fix, and you'll be back looking for true meaning and purpose. And I know that from firsthand experience, that when we truly are looking for genuine happiness, it always involves lifting other people. Been such a pleasure to have you here today, Randy. And my final request of everybody listening here today is this: it is go think bigger. And Randy, thanks for the amazing way in which you showed us how to do that. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Be honest, hearing good ideas is not enough. You have to apply them in order to get the results desired. If you found value in today's episode, then you're really going to love the community of big thinkers and high achievers that we are building in order to help you to apply the principles taught today. If you're not yet a member of Think Bigger Real Estate on Facebook, go sign up now.